At my sister's wedding, my mom handed me a plate of cold scraps and said, "A useless child deserves leftovers." 2 minutes later, the groom stared at me and blurted, "Boss, what are you doing here?" That's when my family's favorite lie started dying in public. For 28 years, I was the problem daughter. My sister was the miracle. At holidays, my mom loved saying, "She'll never be anything." My dad just sat there, quiet, staring at his fork like it could save me. When I turned 18, my mom cut me off over one argument: if you can't be grateful, you get nothing. So I worked 3 jobs and stopped expecting kindness. I learned to survive on schedules, tips, and stubbornness. Around 2 a.m., one night at the hospital where I picked up extra hours, I found an older man slumped in a waiting chair, face crooked, breathing wrong, stroke. I yelled for help and started the basic steps until nurses ran in. A week later, he squeezed my hand and said, "You saved my life, I won't forget it." I didn't know he was Mr. Harrison. After that, doors opened. A scholarship with anonymous donor, an internship that felt impossible. I still did the work. 10 years later, I was running the company that internship came from, and I kept my family far away from that life on purpose. So at my sister's wedding, 200 guests, designer gowns, her bragging about a $10,000 dress, I got seated alone in the far back corner. No family table, no photos, just a place setting like an afterthought. I sat there anyway. Dinner came out for everyone else. For me, my mom walked over holding a plain plate with a torn roll and limp lettuce. She set it down like she was doing charity and said, loud enough for nearby tables, "Useless children only get leftovers." My sister leaned into her bridesmaids and laughed, pathetic as always. I didn't cry. I didn't throw the plate. I pushed my chair back and stood up. One slow breath, another. I smoothed my dress and aimed for the exit. Then the groom saw me. His smile dropped. His eyes widened. His chair scraped back. He said too loud, "Boss, what are you doing here?" Glasses stopped midair. Forks froze. Even the band stalled on a note. My mom went white. My sister's hands shook around her bouquet. People whispered, "Did he say boss?" And, "How does she know him?" The groom started walking toward me like he forgot where he was. Because he wasn't just my sister's groom. He was my marketing director. And his successful father, everyone kept name dropping. Mr. Harrison, the same man I kept alive at 2 a.m. My sister grabbed his arm and hissed, "Stop, please." He didn't even look at her. He looked at me and said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know you were her sister." Then he faced the room and added, "I can't do this. This marriage was an arrangement. I won't tie my life to a family built on lies." My mom snapped, "She's nothing," pointing at me like I was still 17. I finally spoke. "You've been calling me nothing since I was a kid. Funny how my nothing signs your future." A couple people actually flinched. I opened my bag and pulled out a folder. Not feelings. Paper. A private investigator report, bank statements, forged documents. My sister wasn't my mom's golden daughter. She was adopted, and my mom had forged records to get control of an inheritance. Those degrees my sister bragged about, fake. Those jobs, lies with pretty titles. And my dad, he wasn't as powerless as he acted. When I was 16, he quietly moved what he could into my name, properties, and accounts so my mom couldn't drain it later. He did it in silence, and I still hated him for that silence, but the paperwork held. That should have been the end, but my sister panicked. She grabbed her phone and started recording herself, trying to spin it. I had to lie. She sobbed into the camera. I did what I had to do. Then she hit the wrong button. Her confession blasted onto the venue's big screens, loud enough for the back tables. My sister tried to scream liar, but her voice kept cracking. My mom grabbed my arm and whispered, "Please, don't." It was the first time she'd ever begged me for anything besides obedience. I left that ballroom without the scraps. The next morning, I walked into the district attorney's office with that same folder and handed it over. After that, the calls stopped being about weddings and parties. They turned into audits, attorneys, and charges. My mom lost her throne, my sister lost her spotlight, and for the first time in my life, I ate a full meal in peace. For once.